What's up, everybody? It's me. I'm back with another album review, and today I'm talking about the sixth solo studio album by Róisín called Hit Parade. And I'm not just talking about this album because I have every album of her discography and comment on them briefly as well. Here we go. Obviously, some people know her because of Moloko, and in 1994 she met a producer called Mark Brydon at a party in Sheffield, and Murphy hit on Brydon with the pickup line, "Do you like my tight sweater?" And that actually became the album title of their debut. And yeah, this was during the height of the trip hop era, and it's got stuff like "Fun for Me," "Day for Night," "Lotus Eaters." Where is the what if the what isn't why? This is quite an interesting song lyrically. So, and this came out in 1995. In 1998, they put out this album, "I Am Not a Doctor." And I guess that was the time when they were trying to figure out which way they wanted to go musically. You have Flip Side, Caught in a Whisper, and also it contains the original version of Sing It Back, which would later become a huge club hit all over the world, #1 song on the Billboard dance charts. So yeah, it was a big hit for them, probably the biggest song they ever had and she ever had. And then in 2000, this one came out, "Things to Make and Do." Great songs, "Pure Pleasure Seeker," "Absent Minded Friends," I like the drums on that one, "Indigo," "Ramesses," "Colossus," "Being is Bewildering." What else? "The Time Is Now," obviously another big one for them. Probably my favorite Moloko song. Not only Moloko song, but also Róisín Murphy song. I actually made a Róisín Murphy song ranking, ranking my favorite 15 solo songs and 15 Moloko songs. So go check it out. And then "A Mother," "It's Nothing," and yeah, also a long version, the Boris musical mix of "Sing It Back." And then in 2002, this one came out, "Statues," and this is a fucking masterpiece, I'm telling you. Not only it tells a story, but also it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is how an album should be like. And it starts with "Familiar Feeling," with a long intro. "Come On," "Cannot Contain the Statues," the title track. You shouldn't listen to this song if you're depressed, because it's so dark and melancholic and heartbreak. So they put a lot of effort into this thing. I think they recorded this album with a 50-piece orchestra. And as you can see, Róisín Murphy is on the front, but also Mark Brydon is on the back. And Eddie Stevens, the keyboard player, arranged this whole album. And yeah, he in particular put a lot of effort into yeah, conducting the orchestra, and yeah, they put a lot of effort into it. And also he's the musical collaborator to this day for Róisín Murphy. And yeah, great stuff. "Forevermore," live favorite to this day. She still performs it to this day. So, and then "Blow by Blow," 100%, "The Only Ones." "The Only One's" pretty much my favorite track on this album, because I just love the arrangement with the strings and the harp and everything, and she sounds wonderful on it. Then "I Want You," a good up-tempo track, and then "Over and Over." So, like I said, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, over and over, nearly 10 minutes long, and yeah, lyrically it's so touching. Wonderful stuff. And then in 2006, this one came out. This is a best of catalog. It contains all the songs you want to hear, plus another new track, although I think it was recorded during this period, "Bankrupt Emotionally." And then her solo career started in 2005 with this album, "Ruby Blue." And it's an interestingly produced album, produced by Matthew Herbert. Yeah, it's an interestingly produced album because it contains samples taken from everyday objects. So you can hear bicycle bells and stuff like that. I think it was a Bicycle Bell on Dear Diary. So this is pretty much my favorite song on the album, Dear Diary. But also Through Time is wonderful. If We're in Love, Rama Lama Bang Bang, and also Ruby Blue. And then in 2007, this one came out, Overpowered, my favorite Róisín Murphy solo album, probably the most mainstream album, but great stuff. Overpowered, title track, You Know Me Better, Checking on Me, Let Me Know, probably my favorite Róisín Murphy solo song. I just love the what it's called, middle eight or bridge or whatever, towards the last chorus. So when she hits the high notes, so yeah, I love that. And then Movie Star, Primitive, Footprints, Dear Miami, Cry Baby, Tell Everybody, Scarlet Ribbons, a wonderful song about her father, new jazz type song. And that's what I like about Róisín Murphy's voice, because she has kind of a jazz tone in her voice, in my opinion. So, and then the bonus tracks, Body Language and Parallel Lives. And then also in 2007, this one came out, a live album, and it's a 2 CD set. It contains live tracks mostly from Overpowered, but also some Ruby Blue stuff. And it actually says myspace.com/Róisín Murphy. Does MySpace still exist? I don't know. So, but those were the days. And then she took a little break, released some songs here and there, but it would take 8 years for another studio album. And this one came out in 2015 called Hairless Toys. And it was produced by Eddie Stevens. And this is a fan favorite from what I've heard. But to be honest, I never really got into it. So it's too long. All the songs are too long and too complicated. And I don't know. I don't mind more complex songs or longer songs, but I need a hook every now and again. So I don't know. It is what it is. The same with this one. Take Her Up to Monto. Also produced by Eddie Stevens. It came out in 2016. And then in 2020, she followed up with this one, Róisín Machine, the lockdown album, as I like to call it, like with some other albums as well. So I mean, that was the time. But it was good that she released this during that time, because we needed something positive, right? And something up-tempo. And all the songs were written way before this album was even released. But yeah, good stuff, something more. Incapable of love. We got together. What else? Murphy's Law. Should have been a huge club hit. But the problem was the clubs weren't open at that time. So shit happens. Gosh. And Jealousy. Also a good up-tempo track. And now we have this album, Hit Parade, as you can see. An interesting album cover, as usual. I'm going to show you the booklet first. Come on. Because I think this is worth showing. Look at that. I don't know what it means, but it looks interesting. So actually she wanted to be a visual artist in the first place. She once said in an interview that she wants to be a visual artist, and she never really intended to be a singer. It was just a coincidence that she met Mark Brighton back then, and yeah, he got her into music, and yeah, the rest is history. But look at that. Yeah, I think she also created the artwork for this album, but also she directed some music videos. So yeah, she's really into this thing. Yeah, you have all the lyrics for the songs and the credits. It was produced by DJ Cozy, guy from Hamburg, Germany, producer, DJ, and all the songs were written mostly by herself and DJ Cozy. So yeah, and it's also, by the way, the highest charting album here in Germany, but also in the UK. My overall impression of this album is that it's a mixture of the musical styles of her 30-year career, but also it contains new styles that she hasn't presented yet. And it starts with What Not to Do. And it reminds me of the early Moloko days. It takes me into an atmosphere. And then Cuckoo, it reminds me of the Ruby Blue days. You know, it starts off minimalistic, but then yeah, they added some horns to it. And then my favorite track of this album so far is The Universe. Because when I first heard it, I was like, oh yeah, this is my jam. Because when I hear it, I imagine myself sitting in a boat on a lake, enjoying the sunset and having a drink. And she actually sings, I'm gonna row, row, row my boat. So yeah, that's what I also like about her, is that she always brings some humor to her work, whether it's visually, as you can see, musically or vocally. So and actually she's an amazing performer, because I actually saw her live in concert last year, and there was a big screen behind her on stage, but she didn't really pay attention to the visuals or anything like that, because she was so focused on her and thinking what she's going to do next. So yeah, she's an amazing performer. And then Hurt So Bad reminds me a bit of Exploitation from the Hairless Toys album. And then there's a bit of funk on The House, 90s pop on Free Will. What else? Even a little bit of trap on Two Ways. A little bit of trap with a nice short flute solo. And yeah, the album ends with a Eureka. I think that's how you pronounce it. Eureka, with a nice R&B flavor. Overall, there are some songs that are pretty experimental, so I have to listen to them another few times to get really into them. But there are also some songs that I liked straight away, like Fader, the single, for instance. But that's just the way it is, you know. So I think that's what Róisín Murphy's discography is all about in general. You know, some songs are shorter and more accessible, but there are also some longer and more complex songs. This was my album review for Róisín Murphy's Hit Parade and also the other stuff. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment or subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it, and yeah, thanks for watching.